Here's what happened round 19 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands at Assen in Northern Holland. Jorge Prado got off to the flying start in MX2 race 1 with his 24th Vauxhall shot of the season, but his teammate, Paul Jonas, went down at turn 1. By the time we reached turn 5, Hunter Lawrence for Honda 114 Motorsports went from second to first and started to pull a gap over Prado, as Watson and Thomas Kjer Olsen fought over 4th and 5th place, but the Dane eventually went through on lap 3. Around the same time, Jorge Prado got the better of Lawrence, who then fell 3 laps later and handed second and third to Covington and Olsen. Meanwhile, Jonas was pushing through the field. That move on Adam Sterry was for 10th. And the battle for second between the two Husqvarnas of Thomas Covington and Thomas Kjer Olsen went the way of the Dane. He found his way past his American teammate. He then came under pressure from Lawrence, who fell again, and he came home in 6th position. Jonas would eventually advance to 8th, edging out Conrad Muse, but for the 14th time this year, it was Jorge Prado who was your winner in race 1. MXGP race 1, Jeffrey Herlings on the verge of taking his first ever title in the MXGP class. But it was Tony Cairoli who grabbed his 19th Vauxhall shot of the season. Alexandro Lupino came through in second. Herlings, though, by the time we got to lap 4, was already into second place with that pass around the outside of the Italian. He then went after Cairoli. The fans were on their feet. The atmosphere was electric as everybody watched the 9-time and soon-to-be 4-time world champion go at it at the head of the field. This pass here on lap 3 saw Herlings go into the lead. Cairoli responded immediately. 2 corners later, Herlings had to dig deep. That was a decisive pass. It was a Red Bull KTM 1-2-3 with Koldenhoff in 3rd until that moment. He threw it away, came back in 5th. Anstie was now 3rd for Husqvarna. Tim Geiser here for Honda was 4th. Kevin Strybos made this move on Commander Sal for 8th with about 3-4 laps to go, but there was no denying Jeffrey Herlings his 30th race win of the year, his first MXGP world title. Scenes of pandemonium and joy. MX2 race 2, Jorge Prado, a swift turn to the outside as he grabbed another Vauxhall shot, number 25. Covington again from the outside of the gate, made sure that he put himself in a great position. Prado led. The two Husqvarnas of Olsen and Covington were 2nd and 3rd, but then Verlanderen was on the charge for HRC. He was in 4th. He made a move on Covington to get himself into 3rd early on in the race around lap 3. And then about a handful of laps later, he was up to 2nd with that move on Olsen. Ben Watson came under pressure from Paul Jonas. Another poor start for the Latvian and defending champion. Jonas was now up into 5th place as Olsen fell, handing a position to his teammate Covington, and that would get the American on the podium. A decisive move for Watson. Saw him pass Jonas to get back into 5th as Jorge Prado recorded his 15th win of the season ahead of Verlanderen, Covington, Olsen and Watson. Prado taking his 14th career victory, 11th of the season, with the two Huskies of Covington and Olsen rounding out 2nd and 3rd. Prado now has a 46-point advantage over Jonas as we head to Italy, the final round. The title will be decided there at round 20.
You know, it's when you lead the race and you come into the lappers, I think the lappers doesn't expect me to come, so it always takes a lot of time, especially to me, and because I'm the first guy who's going to pass them, and you know, for the other guys it's a bit more easy. So in that time the guys came a bit close, but I put a bit of more effort, and I could pass them a bit quicker at the end. Also put a bit better laps and then got a bigger gap. So you know, really happy. This championship looks really good right now. And I hope to get it done in Imola, which is it's going to be a great weekend for sure, especially for the team too.
After celebrating between races his first title in MXGP, all eyes were once again on Herlings, but he got beat to the line, this time by his other Red Bull KTM teammate, Glenn Koldenhoff. his second foxhole shot of the season. Cairoli emerged just a few positions further back. Herlings was in second. Going after the 2.59, it was a Dutch 1-2 here in the sand of Assen in the Netherlands. Halfway around the first lap, though, the unthinkable. Herlings lost the front, tipped over. The crowd roared their disapproval, but he was soon back up with that move on Anstie to get himself into fourth. Cairoli took 3 laps to find his way past Koblenz to take over the lead and try and do a disappearing act, because he knew that his teammate Herlings was fast on the charge. Found his way into second with that move on Koblenz, then went after Cairoli. Anstie emerged into fourth with that move on Kjer. Herlings tried to go around the outside of Cairoli for the lead. The Italian kept him back there, and then a bad decision from the 2.22. The wrong side of the back marker. Herlings was through at the halfway point of the race. All eyes were on this battle for third in the race. It was a 1-2-3 for KTM, with Koblenz there in that third place. De Salle came home in seventh, but Jeffrey Herlings making it 31 race wins for the season. Win number 83, 16 Grand Prix victories in 2018. Cairoli second overall, Max Anstie third, on the podium for the third time this year. Of course, Jeffrey Herlings world champion, Tony Cairoli second, Clement, De Salle and Tim Kjer still battling over third. That gap down from 28 points to 20 as we head to Imola, the final round, in 2 weeks' time. But today was all about this guy, Jeffrey Herlings, winning the world title at home in front of his home fans. It does not get any better than that. Jeffrey Herlings, your new world champion in MXGP.
You know, between motors, you know, it's hard to concentrate. You know, everybody's seen the chaos here. But it's awesome, man. I love that, and the day's been awesome so far. It's a God blessing. But like I said, it was hard to focus on. Second motor riding was a bit less, but still, you know, I came from after the first lap crash from about 10th back to the lead, and I think I won around 7-8 seconds. So it was good, you know, 1-1 and win the championship in my own country. Can't say enough. Thank you, Red Bull KTM, man. Love you guys.